Hello, Robert John Burton answering why Asperger's is so difficult. As in my first live vlog, I read a script to maintain a flow. Please accept this presentation style as it keeps me from stumbling in my speech too much. Life with severe forms of autism is extraordinarily rough, that is taken. Some would suggest that people on the high-functioning end of autism spectrum, ASD, have it better. They have heard of all the high achievers with Asperger's like Einstein, Warhol, Grandin and Turing. People with high-functioning autism are often very bright and may have impressive talents. But I am 66 and my reality has been quite different. Asperger's is the preferred term for high-functioning autism by many. Certain people on the high end of the autism spectrum may do very well indeed, though they travel a different road and sometimes blind luck connects genius with the right networks. Many Aspergians have unfortunate private lives. Intelligence is no guarantee of worldly success. Some really questionable people gain a lot of success through nefarious means, and cleverness has nothing to do with financial inheritances and ruthless business practices. Actually, thinking Asperger's creates genius, stardom and talent as given states is as crazy as believing blindly in miracles and that life is fair and reasonable. Instead, people with Asperger's, while they may or may not be unusually talented or bright, rarely have the intense motivation for public success that pulls the magic success rabbit out of the hat. A lot of success in my experience has been through being in the right place at the right time. This is true of the opposite. I was very much in the wrong place at the wrong time to be a victim of violent acts too many times. I have had significant challenges which stood in the way of living a comfortable life, succeeding in my work, enjoying intimacy, and most important, building a sense of self-worth. The challenges develop because people do not accept odd behaviours or traits from people who seem normal in most situations. Throughout my life, people have asked, why did I do such a thing? Made odd movements, made outrageous statements, became frustrated at simple things that others took for granted. While people with more severe autism are not generally expected to suddenly change and get through difficult moments, people on the high end of the spectrum like me are expected to do just that. I am very aware of my own difficulties and my extreme sensitivity to others' negative reactions. Some people have really hurt me. A few of the problems that get between me and personal success and happiness develop out of extreme sensory issues. These include intense sensitivity to noise, crowds, flashing lights, strong tastes, unexpected sudden touches, and especially some smells that can trigger meltdowns. Although when younger I was lively, reasonably verbal and hardworking, I could not walk into a crowded pub, attend movies or cope with certain venues without a very defensive and sometimes aggressive manner. My tolerance for noisy people who like to gossip does not exist. I am confused by certain acts of friendliness. Being socially clueless, it took years of observation and mimicking to understand the difference between general civility and a signal of romantic interest. When is it all right to talk about your personal issues or interests in a public place? When is it time to stop doing what I need in order to attend to another person's requirements? Maybe these are difficult issues and learning questions for anyone, but for me on the high functioning end of the autism spectrum, they can become overwhelming mysteries for social connections, work and friendship. I do much better with people I do not see in real time, such as on social media. I have a few friends, but they are usually considered to be odd by others in any case. I suffer and am treated for anxiety, depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. These mood disorders are more common among people with Asperger's than among the general population. There is a correlation between the social rejection and frustration which become identifiable traits of Asperger's. The lack of executive planning skills has been the worst outcome of my autism. Executive functioning describes the skill one uses to organise and plan life. There is no certainty in life, as anyone could be struck down by disaster. I watched a whole generation of young men shrivel and die from HIV/AIDS during the late 80s and 90s. Nevertheless, these skills allow neurotypical adults to plan schedules and join the dots to make a life work, to follow a timeline to achieve long-term goals. My executive functioning skills were compromised and diminished. I just never saw life as a progression of stuff to do, and changed schedules left me confused and always in trouble. This was made worse by demands of a dysfunctional family and workplaces run by people with hidden agendas. I was just a tool for them, and I could not see it until the frustration set in. Whose fault was it? Always mine, and I walked away from opportunities because I had no confidence or decent mentoring to help me. Emotional dysregulation means people with autism can become far too emotional in the wrong situation. I have been wheeled into many surgery wards without any outward feelings and endured terrible pain and disfigurement because I could not react at the time. But imagine a 14-year-old bursting into tears because no one remembered his birthday. Still no one cares now. Or as a grown man melting down completely because someone has touched me in public. These are the types of issues that arise for an Aspie like me, who is capable of doing a great many things, only when the situation is predictable and no barriers arise. I could get a postgraduate degree because I followed the course outline perfectly, but endured bullying from younger students and some lecturers who did not want me in their space. Lots of people have a hard time with change, but people with Asperger's take it to a whole new level. Once a pattern is established and comfortable, people with autism mostly want to maintain that model forever. I stayed too long in awful workplaces. I stayed with people who treated me deplorably. I stayed too long in places that were slums. You get the idea? I was mind-blind to so much. I have problems with following verbal communications. Fast talkers do my head in. Tasks are alright if I can read them, but unable to follow spoken instructions. So if a nurse says stay in bed, I will sit up with them on the side. I'm only processing part of the message. Doctors can explain things about an operation, but I will react if they take too long to put a stent in because I do not understand it. Similar for directives given, for example, in a class or by a manager in an office setting. This has caused any number of issues, ranging from serious problems with relationships to unintentional mistakes at work. High functioning does not mean what it suggests. It is not an easy diagnosis to live with. I wish that those who are supposed to care for me or work with remembered that autism is autism. It is not made up. I cannot help some of the things that have happened around me. I wish I had received better understanding when I was younger. The memories I live with can turn a day into gloom. This is my life. Thank you for listening.